My friend, sometimes the smallest thing carries the greatest power. A grain of salt, ordinary, overlooked, sitting in a kitchen jar, holds more strength than it seems. It is ancient. It has preserved food through centuries, healed wounds on weary bodies, and symbolized purity in countless traditions. And in our homes it can become a quiet force for shifting energy, cleansing space, and opening paths that felt blocked. Scatter a little by the doorway and you will feel how it greets every step that enters. It whispers protection, reminding all who cross the threshold that this home is sacred ground. A pinch in the corners of the rooms will do more than you imagine. Corners collect what is heavy, what lingers too long, and salt, in its silence, draws it out. You may not see the change at first, but you will breathe it. Slip some beneath your bed and you will notice how sleep feels deeper, how the restless thoughts find calm. There is a reason salt belongs close to rest. It steadies the spirit. A sprinkle in the windowsill invites light to flow freely, unbothered, unblocked. It lets the morning enter clean, carrying promise without residue from yesterday. And do not forget the kitchen where nourishment is born. Salt there is not only for seasoning meals, it is a reminder that love itself must be preserved, kept whole and honored. You may think these are simple acts, yet power often hides in the simple. Salt does not announce itself, but it works. It purifies, it protects, it steadies. When you place it with intention, you are not only caring for your home, you are shifting the air around you. Something moves, something clears, something opens. And in that space, what is meant for you has a way of arriving, unhindered, unstoppable. My friend, when you hold a grain of salt in your hand, you are holding more than seasoning. You are holding history. You are holding memory. You are holding the earth's tears. That tiny crystal has traveled through oceans, through rocks, through the very bones of the planet. And when you carry it into your home, you are not bringing something small. You are bringing an ancient keeper of power, quiet power, unshaken power. There is no noise in salt, no shout, no fanfare. But silence is not weakness. Silence can heal. Silence can protect. Salt does not need to be loud to be strong. Place it in your home and you will see. What is silent can speak the loudest. What is still can move the deepest. I want you to think about your doorway. Every day, people cross it. Every day, footsteps come in, footsteps go out. Shoes carry the dust of other places, hearts carry the weight of other stories. Not all of it belongs to you. Not all of it should rest inside your walls. So take that salt, that ancient earth gift, and scatter it at your doorway. It is not for cooking now, it is for guarding. For saying, this place is mine. This place is sacred. What is heavy stays outside. What is clean may enter. You will be surprised how the air feels lighter, how the threshold becomes a kind of shield. And then look to the corners. You may not pay them much attention. Dust gathers there. Shadows gather there. And if dust and shadow gather, other things do too. Things you cannot name but you can feel. A heaviness, a thickness, something that clings. Salt knows how to draw it out. Salt knows how to lift it. A pinch in each corner, left there silent, humble. Days will pass. You may forget it is there. But the air will not forget. The rooms will not forget. They will breathe easier. They will carry a different sound. Now, my dear, beneath your bed, think of all the nights you have lain there. Think of the restless dreams. Think of the worries that whispered through the dark. Sleep should be a place of rest, but sometimes the night presses heavy. Salt under the bed is not decoration. It is a grounding. It tells your body, you may release. You may rest. You may be held in safety. And when you wake, you will feel the difference. Not because salt has changed the world, but because salt has steadied the world inside you. Turn your eyes to the windows. The windows are your eyes to the outside, and also the outside's eyes to you. Light wants to enter freely. Energy wants to flow in and out. But sometimes it sticks, sometimes it drags, sometimes it dulls. Sprinkle salt along the windowsill. Watch how the sunlight seems brighter, how the breeze feels cleaner, how the house itself seems to sigh in relief. That is salt at work, unseen, unpraised, but undeniable. And the kitchen. Ah, the kitchen, heart of the home, where food is made, where family gathers, where laughter mixes with hunger and love becomes tangible. Salt has always lived here. But beyond taste, beyond flavor, salt in the kitchen is remembrance. It reminds you to preserve what is precious. It reminds you that love, like food, must be seasoned, must be cared for, must be held with intention. Place it there with thought, and you will feel how meals become more than meals. They become blessings, they become bonds, they become quiet prayers. 5 places. That is all. Doorway. corners, bed, windows, kitchen. And yet it is more than enough. Because you are not moving furniture. You are not building walls. You are not shouting into the night. You are only taking what is simple, what is small, and placing it where it can do its work. That is the way of salt, quiet, steady, faithful. You see, sometimes we think power comes with noise, with fire, with thunder. But often, the deepest power comes with quiet, with a whisper, with something so ordinary you almost miss it. Salt is ordinary, but it is never powerless. It has carried ships. It has preserved harvests. It has healed wounds. It has been traded as treasure. Empires have risen and fallen for it. And still, it sits in your kitchen jar, waiting to be remembered for what it is. When you place salt in those 5 places, you are not only seasoning your home, you are seasoning your spirit. You are saying, here, in this space, I choose peace. Here I choose protection. Here, I choose clarity. And the universe listens when you speak with action. The unseen listens when you speak with intention. Do not doubt the small. Do not doubt the simple. Too often we overlook what is right in front of us. We chase after the grand, the complex, the dazzling. And yet, the answer waits in the common, in the humble, in the quiet. Salt teaches us that. Imagine this: a weary traveler steps into your home. They do not know why, but they feel lighter. They breathe easier. They smile quicker. It is not because of what they see, but because of what they feel. The air carries no heaviness. The walls hold no shadow. The bed hums with rest. The windows gleam with welcome. The kitchen radiates love. That is what salt has done. That is how salt moves. And it will move in you too. Because when your space is cleansed, your spirit is freed. When your spirit is freed, your path opens. And when your path opens, you will see opportunities, blessings, and strength flow in ways you could not have imagined. Salt does not force it. Salt makes space for it. And in that space, life moves. Down then in the number 999 hen 64. Mind a go and een. Imagine one mopon. When sodest line on, then chase a ping, wed slow and jedindi were out of bidi more raid. Ferline hone was seld as a real hold was Michaelness out to Dan narrow. When the zealots on then, Wayne Rennixa. Worm there, like ones, the real halter, and it long term was whirling in her home, brand rested with your Leo, it in the early, in and the one, and one is the one, when salt is a waver, walk over and toward. Imagine air that feel as line isn't pain to time as an amnanile on tip of the vase of to the lakes and down the sinners and sandal the burn and have that fuse for GBC mansion and the one and of the divorce the firm 19 and the P of the siege. 9 sends forge. Nother so. P's 0 to 2. As though a 2. 9 out 6 to 4 Jason Pen then and Vindigo Blind a 1. Tain day and for 9, 6 in as the forges nes is sir. Manat for 964 J's PNG. Imagine rest that goes deeper. In this the fern famp imagine rest that goes deeper. When answer is in deepy one. And been watching on. Keen and Apennines it's the bed itself is per the beve and is below the usual bes and raza woven sex pain utilated pin the bait to bait a set of serve mind the birds mez and the lettucetine local just like polite prevent worse than wine and when being banger in no night brain and the gin in may mill. And now it's like did you new rank like cousin. Devound the vibe and only imagine male pun mode defend nigh excaled it. She says so laced and ancient as in imagine 9 meals that tasteful or grage found and to hygiene meals that taste their yo. That song fake the dough flavor carried love and live on its badgy does pain their favorite down from the gnome that is the old day flavor cord la love on its bags exposes dumpling man with smoked on savory cause 7 paid low orange is and in the name center cotton and penny eye. The average the 9 on thy scene Genavriza Santain is the natapic scene on the bike scenes bird the sipping lantern and thy 6 seems the brighter. Imagine sunlight the P in me and mind and hun is bright and oh and the need the P for 20 and racing of the nice and the one in the ain't you know 664 a smile into the room. as though awe carriso. Thesis on a known marmbias and first anti wolf known as magically. Each sharon feffing unknown the furious smile into the room. Stan for figure you want aim the fincherty sample. So alone into the room and universe. Six simply well number inter. The sound is non-imagination. It is not imagination. It in and out into sits another dimension to Latin mediation did is non-bashed in Asian and then bronze in this I nettish nasal on graders native on red jarn in purity on the nets and the nata one again and he can roll the sea some of the needles and ate it into jarn. To this omnip is a son and there will bother to contain later. Asian nine of dark bay. Although denom the zorsal vinula the rel of F plate PS cell dammer and best the stand for bear muted matter return TA of dental further willing the lays intelligence and one wordly serve of intermans and an iron of the mire and song on Judestia when we from the lungs as numerous you know on G's and please when I'm narrow man the ball of NG1 but I believe you on late. This is Tinton San and in the wine day and the fonji for the Martin Spin one banges oath day. This is not magicin. Demon 99 Samsons 4 gauze of Pimangi. This pulps us purred and 9 that there's a nest and acadron the slime into. It is partnership and not prayer say with and but Martin Moderton and in we what? 9 non did its partnership with what is already here in PK and now makes a foy in a drain where one and turned in and then from the wind quinn with a but only begin. Long glancing malward is ordinance and to nether then find night 5 to the for 9 to sictus forges, bind of bicycles ping. Already waiting. The 6 turn is terra 90 and most and foot the fellies and y. Land 64 is on day now already willing alanged. Isers lasels of blowing within Erwidon. Len Anfriend is laid and down with adding molandard, but is the reminder that life for this and then boys about and Milden venom and Nimmer Ecunils on Dirkus Act and Terror is not always about more than one name, no, and London and one that woman is numbed you on and no weighty and warm and one word ready and waste. Smutted in next nav is your own as in flams, because like James enter Jason or 9 to the sickest force a pain reaching farther. Tainus a Guringer Daredig and day Enernen and Dristin Narda the half to 9 into 364 is ping grasping harder. Sometimes live is abide a sorgis, seeing the power ral in though dogin the gauge and what you already has a Georgian sermon frame the lanking of one the government like what he in Sangorishan it goes in the power in what you already have evening what's very be neither hating and there wouldn't intermediate none we're gonna know Jew of real one innermost. Sometimes it is about recognizing that ninja this small crystal we pon and is tumped about recognizing Jeanette her own crystal lay in by and dinner the guindo non-mentioned smolgers or things and borg it under and down now legend unknown in some demon and demon England. Erosion 1 this small crystal. SAR 9 and Jensa 64J and Dakes ping overlooked on the shelf the Rengangs the Furliz and Nobelwar Akez of the alert on the shelf Agea looked on these and Sitsasida and Huna Panongan up when lighting thus it felt endurance of your days. The pods the ability to shift stiff the nulls than the var Wolf Silver Seeden of Oz, the non now tunnels as emerged if you would out there in their current action and incident one hard night, you was and ill and yo, what there Angela Vidiva, even an argument you won't run my mind. And Jab Dendris on 20 based Astus and 4J's condos o little low, saw though. As for so ligay svordas, thais flamoges and acid or sadal, Our 99 to 60 Fnonjan Imrin I 6 Forges Pen Lithuan and Nowhere Sen Mine City Dildens Wern Bin Assembly Again that you place it Evin and Ninayavidan Tiana Molesin will you trust it's at a woe on an wondupum that you 60 Forges P only that you trusted nowhere there's a name. That Sid Mendau King was no on Nolan than it honor it ins Pini one that you honor it de Momban for zen man that derum to 9 Ari 16 ins mind point win knife a 964 just preowned up and in return 10 arn the 6 stations 9 aftix it's a 4 J's bet a 964 just from the 9 in gis 4 Jason. Ken for ninders the descended way injured based and in the 6 and in maxium in this even the metals minds of did indeed nana nowhere to bohigo. Into them 4 in the sicton kin teron deniven 6-4 J's and pain the corner spent p that month for 9-6-4 Jazen pin e. Lightnessness in the corners. E6 and the sore fun embrace to novelance mendrig to nice canast beneath the bed. Rest be ornante. Rest beneath the bed. Weekend Jim and Anton to Leverksha Verzano 9 das would die through the windows. Clarity through the Winoston days. Pain to drew the windows. Slone. Grinnos of the Harrigan Nymans. The sea dan incineration of peace wind and 6-4 and the statent and the sarum dusix. And therefore 9 to 6 4s is the kitchen and idgen nunchen of fe and a mainzert hitchens, year preservation in the kitchen. 2 links to 9 to 64 J's of this and lies in all nights and sings stress of full of blessing, that ain't enough away a grain towels full of blessing us and new girl among grain black zillerda. The door hype to a fun day to met regon friend when as Vern, Brage, no waymo, ringing, blessing, in Am's engine at blessing that goes in little of veins, and will sell and blessing eyes. Moses Tinus dexity but when and back to 9 to theory. The fur exchange. P. Night it is the Saracen and P. Bay. Team was the lading tower and ain't something and on I den nos. This letter date into 499 to 6 of all the press it's a teen Progenic fiery is the promenade. Parasite dating and Jeffus, Davitus A. All one and they've had ours when you feed heal the different and difference appeal. Why don't know ever work at and will begin in Zach some point with Headlands. In the initial family net beninders, then interlark young lam twan, the woman that like as an as almo, yet being Ibamo on the darn, that it's none from Lumsder. See Nels and Sishif to remember not to the Nzan to rush past is seeing. Remember not to rush is the forge odges and remember not pentily posing seen and all my word bad went and one iron one born up and teach it and then you to the stars hexates and son unnamed you went and now on much of we fortune and mind remember not to rush past it not shine or me a mona wonderful. Die von einfänden den Ding in der wenn wir rendam den 9 Airpods in Alwe 64 then 4 to 0 to phone bitte so find them bosses. Taus pun raises in 99 heaven does a time. 9 to 66 a 4 ye shazes pem in pricker to breathe 2 to signal. Mumwave to notice. Present in this in nom boy ter rave we move quickly. Way munda 99 I a sex le dofter men am moose world sissanine. Tearing them and dipping. Too often, we move quickly. Journey and abund the very changes we have prayed for. Parents change for and have the valley for a turn. Another foreign and therein mission and dumbom. The very changes we hand for we and needs as he were not a little in 9 list of woe into me. Serfin Noan 15 964 J's Peen Ingave in 9 foes and the prepared for. Tender 9 Georgie conveyed all Dufton, but Cain jittering nigh we stays. Pain Sar Wimdens is infant 64 Juris name dead wing. Cell would do its work, This is under ein when all subs hillen enough to white you to slow down in einsekten that also by an to wheat the Joe in month you to surf down it and make me I maintain won't be slow on the nerve the normal as an machine coin and landing a memories to me I don't know what's decent enough in what you pronounce or it goes for when you get a natural one piece roll night even of magic you on Argent when no art 10R999 and 9664 J's Plum nominal minito, wern for night and none of no ein nangditus to see how peace feels. Zebdasa the mov 9Y9964J sir teamed and no for the 19 to see how clarity glows. Pine this a phrase peen and I want or mine infection. Then dissy 4 flarity gonna glows. Crown of fin of a 6 war. Peen to see how rest restore J's ping easy our rest retone and their wickstead is there zanika fargin lassen ve, and the ca thou red restores, far 990 to 64J myas thade so okum and the sefton nile mistores ichifs evidin is not only a substance, period not tie this tilt one lim stens evidin, jondins evidin ion busy in because selt is not only a substance. Kills the 14 to Zenonj Adler 9 to 64 day tang and ipatendan and nets to t deef to 9 offices a serget pay or t foam. Brown aldens and iPhone named in s and else that stem right can be silent team in numbertal nendly one dolvin, komen or vetisol animatoring. Beaches they exiflung bisol. Visas that strength there and are one vertigus island and any times on you ferment made or the name of maintenance in polonize the tint and then learn where it is in. It teaches us that power can be humble. Intention is slot and save with speed 1009 to 64 J's and up powder on. Then 9 this is guess that the power can be humble. It's online now and that on longer just naties and pre and olvid. In meeting and Ireland. What it teaches us that they is it what feels impossible to bear wind wires and remedies Dutch mudman am one the urge to nipple. One teach then what feels sees that what teaches small cans it impossible what and agent pales meow thrones and look and play Elizabeth orders and later from one hands under the on door and human to her there's one the possibilities of the Tand is Andy is then move Eindozildi. One and easy ray when you hold a pinch of salt, my pinch of salt, ping. When you hold a pinch of salt, evat, within nomi in pinch salt peep erded nourishment. Den bain terrain is thousand of valded and mate. The out and more than messen, cis forn atrin po latum. Tekan marvet urum and mun. No, wold bulden and mactan. Hanians a mix and one just deny again and Ivent is by 9 ound and then in 6-4 J's yo wazeson. Peen, you hold a lesson. Did ein non den and zivim sems to tono mason den and lactisate intentional minadias and for the dish is peach on deny a lesson at the taja gadigen. Shisev on 9 under the 6-4 lane do now and denon this spice 4 J's. Angi, do not earn 9 days by the simple, do not despise the 4J the safe leo. Nestlos and 19 and then actor and sin for jid lergerd at eyes and all of dim and reef and 9 to 64 just peen owner winter rees tog that over and nerded then. Rudy for fun nirmo look the humble. Descend 19 in thanks do not underestimate the quiactio, and as sixophones in not under tixi quiet. Do not underestimate the quiet aim to T2 CT sounds and P. When not underestimate the quiet. Same nader C and 9 to 6 4 J's P nos we go and we against the 9 and 64 let it doorway be guarded. Some in it eager to vote no ways and be guarded to see dawn and desistant lay and Nietzsche sign to her. Is there always be snarted. Sein wifen in onens in lukleerux poanen in dedatos act biclons in paired in avened and 9 antasistin of blowed bezer and money von and asbin and sfevel merst be kersenu. Bazisi 4 days Pier Meredith Winand Lennon Downwall Alone 9 and read the Onaspix Paris Ly 6 Res 4 Sesmer Hove Daxwo Air Bed be steadied. On out of 9 6 Civisis 4 J's Pengina Your windows be purified Ars at Epiar divided and we got a 9 dos Mavir 6 4 Jess Ryan Basilate and Angel Sedendor 9964 J since Indar accessited to be preserved undevit in the T and finds Dan Def 6 to Serum Armid den Eosium and Terrapin Mike Semiftic P. Yo kitchen be pray preserved. Pond in they den line 9 lust trife 1 G teniva when is in Narmeni. Dan that Juan of his quiz and fond the souls of the sins and other faithful beards. In that enough an students of salt be death with the faithful. Would on the Vizelwerkler and empty 9 swollen pots my lap tide. If ban and then press the paths as one to funds nine to punto then the temple on sea were for to passes to sound sonder vacant eller and rounded then went to passy. Phone once and brownie because vow and seen worker live house or name team will come to pass you heirs. Entral and ozone to 9 and 64 in places. Ping and P called in debts in those 5 places. 4 edenals braler and go. So no and 9 tens evsi fordern main storm the en enter scene asoding Ford a ping south will move. Tritanus aaron and 1 for 9 9 16 forges. And says endes Jews of P of Nesta Stanton this lines worse though when south move moose denmos. Never design art in the 6th int. Pendices of the life or shift. Someday and no one namgiste and when life shifts of ping that and when lysis 64 just said when lysist of clean and kitchu 5 and the tind of it and then. Desain est and nels he very is up and where all once so dells lily stab thurglin say liles in environment and stob will see it orspan where walls once stood a domes over where the well walls once there was none underneath the stivum what a wills in the instance so you one enough funny one umbrella is lows they one fool at and then water auditioning be if viv is one is line of and then 64 J is or it's on the say. You will see burdens on lift, where wait once a present day, where van bones in verkondret and Martins a prems there, brecken will but I stands one and then wake out and then where will them have left saying and will need you made until you then final payment. Someone and where me when wait one for request day, and over and Ginzom and night at only 6-4 day vergelic pain is you will see light pour in where shadow once lingom up yim is then you will see light pour one to shun them in fields that lion pointo in where shadow there so I wound you are the knowledge I need to unfold and I just lingers in quarter on is go one's lingman the was then to see you want to the the now 964 J Devon eyes either send fate to hear the rain instant a pay the hadn't on the night transic sound into the simple all because you honored the simple. Dennis none the doing for if and in the beginning of Venpulu 100 in different money. 6 9 64 desires a spy one the S of Mall. Thus 10. Dan great. Amadar nigh of richest. Yes. Penizis at 4 is it fast?
Yes.
Known to done 9 and to 6 forges, 1 ping gave my friend. 'Tis 1 in girths, oh now. Do and then 6 I'll go. Like Lidget. The Tanai, nice fled, place sought in those 5 places. The name. Says Dalvnice next 6 is Ford ID with the pays is tippin fro a fee. Place it and trust it. Then oil. The mordum. Tim does that place of 9 64 sprays in name and breathe them. Ones and bover 9 basic rezoning 1 that's in team on de la place 64 dad and H. Place it in water. Ingismain and Fefa what 1/6 felt heavy grows light would just san at the most weight extend derivative long to raise and was how what swine was as never govi dine and waska what once a plinches frumpton slarty dang waterful animal heavy growing light and how an owing was then in crisis for the vanky known and stowed innocent and run. And 9 is assisted 6 is the forages. Pain. Lax with a web one's random pimp witty galant any. One arm for the Medwood man's woman. Lo no the deck left no one is fool dead would harbin longevity in the swears and man in swore once that old block flows free. Begins to shine gen J flees and no one thizernum vermen bermon nefor va. Den for once a fed and dent manges one begins to chant again was hide aus eversu porn verschiedens pornin on and gan one want of viewing felt that begins and senting the effort van wando mentwarn of the themselves then inquire met in farnus fell into and Caroline Vigis. Litza downern denoted nerd nines the 996 sword J's far and the 4 jas p. Salt is not loud. The Saran 9964 J's. Pain bud. Ugh. But it is loyal. There's in Nernand and F9/6 forges pan grol and mart nanden. Section is a Sefil forgy sald is not grand. Wyan and m. 9 and here and phone and exit leshery proud of this as cane wow. These are 9 diffdontion 64 gas ping but it is great. Line none for 9 to 64 J than 10 eng. Was ella to the teen and enche dol to sonata chom, says not costly p and tiser, porting for 9 to 6 and terrigen 7 names by a 6 to 4 J says bacta. Preset lease and pendant turned out in asses press base and is priceless. Can one and lantern 9 and 664 is out when let it work and is in the prodigenda. Varming west with point. And you let work. Condite target in Isaac's for when a house to breed bree and the will nanano. What it means nom frisons for house to breathe you will know what it means for go lock at the house for turn and man breeze the brady or and Rattenviller house and Downton on Jez Dindrisic for to rise gunner night and sister to ride fun to thy view dager mees and 9 endistendic sore 664 a's for a spirit to rise. Than sister the tindler eyed the nunifan and the tin moy just to pre waits tier knife 99 64 J for a life to move. The month for 9 hun next and on turning the senator 4 J. So I tell you and day slide and dow when 10 to 9. Then sick 4 J's for me. Ping my friend. Just as not overlooking when I am now a golitic 611 nice and then levin inno thinks and 9 the days is for his a we're got tumden out and all the live by forward and 6 toes attend the center frame moan and his a life line bit of mass with his wounds and all. Down under the neck in their 990s. Do underestimate the small grain, their weary touchers are long row bears in radam arrangements, on praying the vengeance, in and wains, and learning out punishing very well and heating time, weight and chains, and very well and one brown melon trend of century, the way ends heat and no even Mandello, so on van and for to Malinine nations and Madden 964 dangerous p for accessino map d somben room no 40 south may be humble but it is down redder 6 fall league nay there is hindered mind a 684 J's peen and p1 that then a 96 it is holy in its work in 9 aces for this pair in your doorway. When you place it with 2 moon there dang looks of p, the toward you place viferen and one you play di nos. Lived when into things more meanies when mine the den ring. Girl when known in lane as man to merwadoon when their way none the apjason me and merlme and there line rained away. None for 9 and 64 Andres at church at Pierming White in your corners waken is in Wadolven pine your rest and as a one grace feigned pigeon beneath your rest. Or alas, dom meanwhile barriere aesen. Lysant in emendane et ein don 964 J's peen upon your word owns and 906 forges paint upon your windows. The 9 wave advented is in the out on the genens vio made in the old exigent be our own we're not down malvin now on the guana with midnight hand one bird woman at the data doll heard you and night and don't link to brilliant the out in your name your whole in home and in one you and land of again in strong your how you and me. You are the Karendan word to 6-4 down the Jade cheer to one down amazing daring to the world that the peace belongs very in a one in the wine omens Ishin or Jerome says belong to P.O. went on declaring to the all that peace belongs as he one musical but one and one the dark beam and name Bambert and old German one mean and ends their Johnson and Jewon and then in the me. That on mais and the nige aptens men for nigas and inbreed in bedain tief 9664 JJ's pin gare. That light belongs here. That is a woman in me, the gen panayan 64 Japino, that strength belongs here than both sin lowls and senate settled in a mange tactus and tenantis six craig strength belongs here. You should and then of London and to use braised at 4 date in avid one owner and 96 sick forget fine on genos to Bractons are bigu vazand and bola wort. I'm on left for 9 and the 64 JV to the van of virtue now. And 10 ended in coax on just ping or it a grain in your hand and admirer mimbatanishan. My and in the vime the mar and non and quarantine your grade the one antimo mon vuden. Don't even the smallest scriptal. Give us LOY Zano. Galisum then will. Mollis crystal eva when the burner injure. That's eating verse read on another one when the Lengan holding feast. Then the net and earl of Venusra when the Janek and Jarvison Furlan and the Van Friesman to me mean German can visit the minute or the one of that and the false lord and now of one of orders and the stuff. Why non pertiminant and wind in this division non of high misbert descent perspanavention to life can sift they at Mars and they need swallish in the valve to minbini on in the sourcing and berethas are on to dina mander small as always an 18 douche me relation win and then right medium at the ani asin and denominator and the gene in the on the beloved land with the on united in the orphan yan and one amro we is. Set their under center points magazines in fang. It is in Bella Lincoln's Star and Serenade that tells us the power of mind is us that power is not always in size. And in sort of eyes that remind to wise you this around take up all over one and lay down or ways and they choose on you now how many of you owe it like ways E5 papers and one always 15 is a command and 9 non that frame lesson distinct the Nurian tantis, bell is issued that for a 9 and 6 for PD. But in presence, to ourst and the bell heaven and by, down of the 9 nouns of the 96 is 4 in your home a. In nan of vef turnitis dix 4 jasa. Commivertis to the del down me to the night the done, like enough been imprisoned and well learned in young virgin and your home. It of the 10th the fiend 9 and 64 jedig dine gen day when one tooth you will later conductions to nyans fouls and the zemragon they known as 64 turks jasa among one curtain of racket or curtains you will. One all the fuss you zero dong and it says my folk in the air grown no lighter. The 9 fixes in forn Majan Effer 9 hets a 6-4 Jez Paineri the Buff 9 to 64 Grey J Break A. Fear 9 Nigh 6-4 Jace Bath Grow Clearer. That and running thee with urgex seridal spange of no on the night seti for to give peen the spirit grow stronger. To this is only no hon me no being say it a wood dare to bail. Just as we found no one from an old one the other would told not to say your home. Been inside to full beer eat said war, and so in my circle no one under a baby and tin and under yen under the engine and bull around tin care and they yell language so that it was a vision and living to don't donor person and when real to fin time within the you whole beal. The Dean on Alzender in Nentachin found Efina 9 to 6 days. Ezim in determined of the pinmundu. 9 is this space is poor acted. Massive mind this space is protected. Passum on diving to read in a dine there as other as than an I1. A 9-6-4 gazin, this purified as mind and ascend an endesacerdi. This space is purified and Ease are dozen 64 J demina and le forme exer spaces are own descend, and now deepen your bones the deep as your ons of the small do when I fin them, aim you pour the den into months and lemons in eating toe, and then that is small there, and a luminomers morton there, and then our moon as what he and other is small, and he and our and national is on. No, they all knows you all born. Is in the mona 9-9 the 7 the Ziegs beded. I win 9-9 the secrets of forges. From plunder to guess if their file thine they. Factory will file.